Oh, I'm like, all right. I'm still singing my song. Ah, 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 Hello, Mary.
Hello,
Happy
Faye.
Friday.
Happy Friday.
Do you have your fan?
I do. A piece of paper I found on my floor.
Yeah. The weather's been kind of cray cray.
Oh, I know. At the beginning of the week, I was like, this weather is depressing the hell out of me. And then by midweek, it turned around. So that was good.
Well, don't you worry. It's going to be raining today and tomorrow and Sunday. They're trying to drive the normies crazy.
Yeah.
It's related to the Juneteenth troll, the weather.
Yeah, you think so?
Yes. Let me vent about Juneteenth and then you can
Sure.
take over. So, Juneteenth is a huge troll. It's a huge troll on the American people. You want to know why, Mary?
Why, Faye?
Okay, because I just told all three reasons to my family. Now I'm drawing a blank. First of all, if we're going to have a new holiday, we celebrated it for 2 years. So that means that during the medical psyop, this thing was listed as a federal holiday. I would just think that if we were a real country and real people and we're going to have a new holiday, something to celebrate, something to commemorate, then we would all live through it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we lived through it. Let's make it a holiday. I don't know. They're pulling something from the past that allegedly happened. I have a degree in history. I never heard of this in my life. Okay. Um, so that's the first troll is, well, we're all miserable during the medical psyop. It's this thing that no one lived through. So yeah, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't, but there's nothing to celebrate on the ground that we can have a holiday about. No, there isn't. There's nothing to celebrate going on IRL. So that's troll number one. The second one is that Juneteenth celebrates the emancipation of slaves, and there are more people enslaved today, including yours truly, because we are slaves. We are enslaved today than there ever was during that time. So that's troll number two.
Okay.
There's another troll. Basically, they're taking June away from us. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but summer keeps getting shorter and shorter and shorter
Yeah.
with the weather engineering, and just people are working so much. When I was a little kid, I knew families that took off the whole month of August. The month of August. Forget that now, because now August feels like fall. Okay. So summer's gone, but here you go. Ba, 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 ba. I don't even know what it is, and I don't care. I mean, they're giving me the day off. Okay. So that's troll number three.
Mm-hmm.
Think that there was another one, but I think that that's enough. If I have to spell it out for people, I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
So, oh, the
Um,
other one is
yeah.
Juneteenth. Is just the word Juneteenth is such an idiocracy non-word.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's it.
I feel like the black community should be offended. I mean, the
Yeah.
Emancipation Proclamation, it was a thing. It whatever. Was a thing. They have the right to celebrate it. I think it's fine. Like we have St. Patrick's Day, and in like Boston, Chicago, not everybody who lives there obviously are Irish, but it's like the whole like Irish for a day thing where everybody goes out and they get drunk. So that's kind of what I equate it to. But I do think it's really insulting that they didn't just pick it instead of calling it Juneteenth, just call it June 19th. We're having a June 19th celebration. I also think it's nice to have something else in June besides Pride Month. Month. The month is dedicated to Pride, and there's one day dedicated to something that actually is founded in America that has to do is a part of American history that I've been arguing with my husband about this also. So this
Really.
is what my husband thinks it's silly nonsense. Silly
Both are silly.
nonsense.
Both are silly nonsense. I think it's a huge troll. I looked it up. It's been recognized for 2 years, and I just think about where the American people were 2 years ago, and
You know
it's
what
like
else is
they're
weird?
showing you that you're slaves.
Yes.
You're going undergoing a humiliation, slave, shame, bizarre ritual of some sort, and it's such a troll. It makes that's all.
Mm. Well, I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. I can't argue with that. I just have, yeah, I'm just like, whatever. You know,
Yeah,
I don't work. I don't get a day off.
we've got to move on. We've got to move on and just we got to put that food on the table and keep working. And that's as long as people get that paycheck, that's all they care about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I've seen firsthand.
Yeah. Speaking of paychecks, so this whole the normalization and acceptance of forced behavior, right? You and I were talking earlier about work from home and things like that, and my husband has worked from home for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But a lot of people switched to remote, what's it called, like working remotely since 2020. And so I came across a quote that I do have to read because I want to get it right. So I found it on Breitbart. It's this the CEO of Blackstone. His name is Larry Fink, which is amazing. But he said, let's see. Oh, good. I'm so happy I didn't highlight it or cue it up. Essentially, what he says is people have to change their behaviors. And we're here to modify everybody's behavior. Oh, I think I texted it to you, didn't I?
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah, let me grab it real quick. So it's behaviors have to change. You have to force behaviors. In BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors. So, I mean, for anybody who thinks, I don't think anybody listening to us, but for people who don't think that this whole thing is very orchestrated, um,
What whole thing?
they're
The
not
whole thing?
going back. Now we're going back here. I was thinking, I don't know, like how you want to do this, but I was thinking about you saying like people pulling their kids out of school and this, that, and the other thing during the pandemic. And I mean,
Wait. When I hear another truther call it the pandemic, I shut them off and sometimes never go back.
why?
Because there was no pandemic.
Yeah, but that's what it's called.
But we as truthers can never call it that. We cannot call it that.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I'm not going to shut you off and not listen to you again, but I'm just telling you that that's fighting words for me with truthers. When they call it that in conversation, it's a line for me. Kind of like when someone's talking to me about the Bible and denies the Mandela effect. I'm just like, wall.
Okay.
So I think it's very important that truthers never refer to it as the pandemic. You can call it the plandemic, you can call it COVID or whatever, but not pandemic.
Okay, so regardless of semantics, thinking about
it's semantics that are going to drastically.
Hold on, let me finish my thought.
It's okay, but it's not just semantics. Go ahead. Okay. It's going to destroy our children's lives and grandchildren's. Go ahead.
But going back to a long, long time ago, there was a huge amount of propaganda. And I noticed it when I started homeschooling my children, propaganda against homeschooling. And first thing I heard, like when people are like, oh, you're homeschooling. Well, what about socialization? Do you have any degrees? All these questions. How educated are you? Did you take the teacher's exam? So people have, through propaganda that goes way back, a bias against homeschooling. So when they think of like homeschooling, I can't do that. I'll put my kids in front of a computer. That's better because the person on the other end doing a terrible job will do a better job than I will because they have a degree. So that's like really where I think that like whole thing during COVID, what do you want to call it? 2020, I'll
You
just
can
say.
call it what you want, but it was
That it
not
was like that moment really coming like back into people's consciousness of all these things that like, oh, I can't do that, you know?
I think that that's good that you're saying that because I need to hear it. I can't. I can forgive them, but I can't be friends with people that allowed their children to attend school under those conditions. For me, it's like I know it's child abuse. And I hope if someone knew I was abusing my children, like, I'm sorry, that's kind of like I can't be friends with people that are child abusers. It can't up until this time be explained to me. There's no excuse for it. And then when I would actually take it to the next level and ask people, how can you be doing this? How can you do this? Their answer was always the same. I have a mortgage. It was never about health. And that was really, really, really disturbing to me. So the work from home thing, I knew that they were being tricked right away. But I also knew it was coming from such a deeply selfish, no, like again, they can't see 2 feet in front of them. Commuting sucks. A lot of moms and a lot of women were sick of it. And I would just be talking to these moms during the medical psyop, which is what I've decided. I'm going to steal that from Brian Staveley. The medical psyop. That's what it was. During the medical psyop, these women would like be going on and on about like, oh yeah, I just don't know, like that my work might want me to come back in, and I just like I love working from home. And like these were women that were commuting and going into the office for their very, very important work, their life. Please, no one's doing anything important at these offices. Sorry, they're not. But anyway, so they would be talking to me, and I would like my answer to all of them. These were women exclusively. No men were like talking about like men were just doing their thing. Men just are gonna go to work or stay home and do what they're told. But women were just so upset that like, oh, it looks like my office is gonna make me come in. And I would say to these women, the kids are in school, and the kids are being tortured at school. We have to get back to normal. This has to stop, and you going back to work is going to get us in that direction. Like, it's not about you. It's not about you and your commute. Like, and how can you even be considering this, mommy? But it was a very deeply, it was one of those moments in my life, which unfortunately, since the medical psyop, I can't unsee, that was really revealing about human nature. Why am I seeing the connection between you going back to work and being normal and your kids not being? They would have, if their work life could be easier, their kids would still be doing that. They didn't care. That's what it showed me, and that's messed up. So go ahead. But
living in the suburbs, okay? You can't go anywhere on 95 between the hours of God only knows what, like what, 8 to, we'll say 6:30, without it being crazy traffic. And I remember, anytime I get stuck on 95 going, all the way back, I'm not known for my patience, okay? So going way back, sitting in traffic, I would be flipping out, calling everybody lemmings and being like, how can you do this? Isn't this a quality of life issue? So when you were saying like that it's a Faustian deal, right? It's like, is it, or is it because they made it so miserable for people that it's a small win? Just a small win, I can, because people have to have 2 incomes, or I mean, they don't, we'll just say for the sake of conversation, the cost of living, they feel as if they have to, so it's like, and then they're spending my brother-in-law, who also works from home, he would spend 3 hours commuting, and he didn't commute that far,
Yeah.
past Waltham and back, you know. So it took such a huge chunk
Crazy.
out of his life that he
Yeah.
is like, I'm so happy I'm working from home, because now I can wake up later, take a longer shower. I can be, have dinner at the kitchen table at a reasonable hour with my family,
Right.
So I don't know. What do you think of that?
I definitely agree with what you're saying. And little wins. I do think that a lot of people do not have the ability to. I don't have the ability for whatever these controllers that are the hatred they have for humanity. Like, I've had people that I don't really like, but the amount of time, the amount of planning that goes into their little schemes that they do to us. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
But I
yeah.
have the ability to see, like, two. I can see that this is a Faustian deal, and now you've turned your home, which used to be your refuge and your sanctuary and your resting place away from work. You brought that in to your home. Like, for example, and
Mm,
I'll say this, and Joe's probably listening. I love my husband so much, and I know he didn't mean to, and I just still kind of can't believe that he did it. But, like, we needed to make more money, and he would say, find something online, there's plenty, work from home, work from home, work from home, he would say. And he just meant like part-time, but, like, that was just okay. I'm gonna set up a computer at my dining room table. I'm glued to the dining room table all weekend. I'm a mother. I have to cook
mm,
and do laundry all weekend. I'm not complaining. There's nothing I like better than making a meal with love for my family and doing the laundry. But on top of it, you're suggesting that I get my laptop and now I work for like 3 hours a day glued to my laptop in my sanctuary, my home. Um, I know I just don't think he really thought it through. And I'm glad that I thought it through,
right.
because I would have became miserable had I done that. And thank God things worked out and I found a way to make the money that we need in this uber expensive place that we live, which is so, and uber's the right word because it's all inserted and it's all fake how they do it. These little ups and downs of the economy. It's all fake and inserted and BS. But I still got to pay those bills and try to keep my family out of debt because I love them.
Mhm.
So did that answer what I think of it? What
Yeah.
do I think of it? It's a Faustian deal. And now a lot of people are realizing, oh crap, my workplace is now my home place and I don't have the division. That kind of reminds me of that show Severance. I
Yeah.
think Severance is a real big tell because those people never get a break. They're always working. That's what they
Absolutely.
want. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Your company, I mean, it really did, like, but this is what I was going to say. Okay, with the lack of foresight. It's not even foresight, like, then my work and my home, it's all combined. My job is going to feel like freer to call me when I'm at home because that's my
Yeah.
office as far as they're concerned. Not only that, what about foresight for what this is doing to our children's generation and what their work life is going to look like? As soon as, I mean, we have all these lines now that are completely blurred, right?
Yeah.
And then they're I mean, what are our children? I mean, what's their work life going to look like? I know people are saying like AI. Your kids aren't going to have a work life. AI is going to take over. But let's say they do have a work life and they code AI, assuming, it doesn't become self-aware. But even if they're doing that and they're sitting in their home at their computer at 5 o'clock, do they close their computer? And or 5:30, let's say they have to work late, and like go do something else, go for a walk, or because they're already home, they're just going to keep working and then realize, oh, the sun's gone down. Because also, don't keep in mind, a lot of these companies can monitor you on your work computer. So if the company is providing your computer for you, they're monitoring. The same thing with the phone. What is this doing to the next generation? We can see what it's doing to us, you know?
Right. Well, our kids' generation is already used to constant surveillance. The adult being obedient, following orders, doing what the sign tells you to do. It's, and I guess I've always just been a little bit of a rebel, thank God, because during the medical psyop, I knew from day one that they were lying, and I could see that the creatures that were being presented on the news, which I hadn't watched in 8 years, were clearly possessed and had black eyes. I didn't
Yeah.
understand why my fellow human beings were listening to them. And to this day, no one listens to me. But everything we're talking about could have been solved if I'm not even women. Okay, you got kids that need care. One of you's quitting their job. You decide. It could be the man. It could be the woman. No, we're not working. We're not doing it. You're giving us options. We can no longer send our kids to school. I don't care, honey, how much you owe on your school loan. I don't care how big your salary is. Our kids come first, and one of us is staying home with the children, especially during this medical psyop. That's where the line should have been drawn. But because most people love money more than they love anything else, that didn't happen. So I was alone. My son, I was the only mother I know that withdrew her kids when these unthinkable protocols. I went through my savings teaching them. I was told with these Christian curriculums that were there. Oh, they were so ready to take my money, all in cahoots, I'm sure, with everything, you know. They took all my money, and that's fine. And I just did the best I could. And yeah. Let's just guillotine or Mark. Let's just do it. Can we just skip
This is the
all
thing. It's moving so fast, but at the same time, it's like an agenda that moves so slow. You want to get out and push. You're like, all right, let's just get on with it.
Just give me the option. Take the Mark Fay or get your head chopped off. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
If you're gonna follow the biblical script, if this is where we're going, just come and ask me. I'll tell you what I'll do. It's fine. But we're not going to do that. We're going to make me suffer. You're going to make me worry about my children and all the other children forever. And
yeah. Well, with all these parents that are going along and accepting, especially these anyway, I'm not going to try to remember what Days of Noah calls it, but being controlled by tech and your company being able to control you through technology and things like that. We already know that the powers that be control us. I mean, monitor us all the time, right? And now having
they're such losers.
Companies,
life,
yes, companies and corporations doing that, and it's like what we're leaving for our kids. But it's like what parents are doing now. Like I guess it would be like the Gen Xers and I guess some late boomers, what they're signing up for that's going to be the detriment of their children is basically what the Gen Zers are complaining about the boomers, but it's just not technical. It's like financial. You know what I'm saying?
One of the biggest comments I've made, this is one of the reasons why I don't want to open my eyes in the morning. It's because I'm watching the betrayal of the world's children. The world's children are being betrayed, and I'm speaking about it. But what? Oh my God, I can't even. But they have been they have been for a very, very long time. But the March 2020 was a real eye opener for me. It's the utter betrayal. Yeah, we were betrayed by our parents, the baby boomers too. We were, but I'm more forgiving of the baby boomers. They didn't have as much information as we do.
I don't know. Or do you just feel that way because you're like, all right, we survived. We turned out okay. We still were able to get houses.
We didn't turn out okay. I don't know anyone that wasn't abused as a child. I don't know anybody, okay? And so you can all have Stockholm syndrome and say, I had a great childhood. I had a great childhood. You're lying to yourself. Don't lie to me, okay? I'm not saying your parents did it, okay? But there was a lot of violence and sexual abuse in our generation growing up, period. Don't argue with me, okay?
Well, that's because the boomers were all about.
We didn't turn out okay, but we're watching. We're in real time betraying our children and grandchildren, and It's despicable. And all I know, it's really hard. Like, I'm sorry, I've said it before. If everyone was like me, we wouldn't be here. You have to get uncomfortable. I got uncomfortable during March 2020 because I could see what they were doing, and now it can't be undone. And it's just like you say, Mary, moving. They are lockstep. They are lockstep. But I look around me and I'm surrounded by people that, as long as they're getting that paycheck, as long as they're like, you know what I mean? As long as the next 5 feet are okay, they don't care. So what can I do?
Yes. So it's a forced behavior. Okay. That's what it comes down to. Some people are saying, oh, it's part of the environmental like agenda. And there are so many agendas that we could point to and be like, like 20-minute cities, you not having the liberty to move. You need like a permit to go like certain amount of miles from your house. We saw it in 2020, literally. We saw this already happen. They've already done the test run. They see that people, okay, they will be compliant. And like I was saying a couple weeks ago, even with the 20-minute cities and stuff, I was like, oh, there's a part of me that thinks that sounds kind of convenient. Convenience. Whereas with the baby boomers, it was all about like feelings and I make my own happiness type thing. Absolutely. Where's the self-sacrifice in all of this, So it's like, okay, so I guess I can't sell my kids out for a convenient a convenient life, And that's the thing we need foresight. We have to not normalize all this stuff. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, I give you credit. I feel very defeated. I do. I like I've said before, I think that March 2020, it probably had been going on before, but March 2020 was like we were talking about last week, like this is what we are. It's going to be out in the open now, and you're going to go along. And this is there is no new world order. It's been around forever, and now it's here. And the only thing that can help us is going to be supernatural, and I don't think it's going to be like it's definitely not going to be like churchianity says it's going to be. The one thing that God has given us that's supernatural is the Mandela effect, and most people especially in the church don't even want to look at it. But like as usual, God doesn't answer prayers the way that you think he's gonna, like, just like the changing of things. That's the only supernatural thing I've seen.
Yeah, they're going to have AI write the Bible. Did you see that? They're going to have AI translate it. We'll see.
So you know way more about AI than I do. I've been following it a little bit. Obviously I hear about it. I mean, I still don't even really know like how a lot of this other stuff works. I just I find it very overwhelming. And that's probably by design, like overwhelming. I don't know how to talk to my kids about it. And I'm very honest with my kids. It's like, this is all coming so fast and it's new to everyone. Like to sit here and be like, I'm your mother. This is how you do AI. It's like, I don't,
this is how you do. Okay,
I don't know.
What AI is basically, it started out like with computer programming. It progressed. Okay, so they first started with computer programming, then they came up with like things like Google and amazing search engines. And now what's happening is there's no need to even program anymore. It can self-write. Okay. Yeah. So it can correct itself. And there's so many applications for it, even right now. But then there's also that spiritual aspect of it, where it's like, where that's when people get into the whole sentient aspect. Does it become self-aware? Because it could be very easily, or it will be very easily manipulated by demonic energy. There's so
yeah, I think it already has been. But I thought I accused you remember one of the reasons I got off Facebook was I mean, first of all, whatever they're telling us about, I automatically assume that they're 100 years ahead of what they're letting us know. I'm convinced might be more than one, but I'm convinced that there's like at least one character in the truther community that is highly advanced CGI and AI. I'm convinced.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they're 100 years ahead of us. I got off of Facebook because I could see that it wasn't natural. Facebook was I guess we didn't call it algorithms at that time, but it was like deliberately causing drama.
Yeah.
And
when Facebook literally like was the, the grandfather of a lot of this algorithm stuff, a lot of it, where it's like, oh, let's do an experiment on everybody and see if we can make them really depressed. So we're only going to put like really depressing things in their feed. And let's see if we can make everybody, they were playing all kinds of mind games with people. It was a social experiment. It was a training ground. Facebook is so nefarious. And guess who's behind virtual reality? The next step in, I think virtual reality, again, isn't, if it's run by AI, that will be interesting. That's what they want. This dink over there, Zuckerberg, he's the one who's like behind the Meta thing. And then you have Elon Musk, who's like, you know what, let's just plug it right into our head with the Neuralink. It's like, I don't know.
I wouldn't have a cup of coffee with either of those characters. So no, you're not going to plug anything into my head. Get the guillotine. However this is going to go, it's fine. You can have it. Like it's all yours, okay? But I guess I have to live here till God calls me. But these characters are terrible. And it just makes me like wonder about history. Like, where are the vigilantes? Like, how is Fauci, if he's a real person, still breathing and walking around? I don't get it.
Yes.
How are these people? Why does anyone listen to them? How there's no vigilantes? No one cares. I don't know.
Yeah, I've thought that too. Things that I'm not going to speak out, especially on this platform. But I've thought that too. Like, why is everybody just sitting there? You can see things in real life, and you're like, why isn't anybody doing anything? I'm talking about like
the White House lawn. Come on, like, okay, patriots, grab your guns. I mean, I can't with these like redneck types that are like, oh, well, they're not going to mess with America because we've got all the guns. It's like so pathetic. Just keep your mouth shut. They were literally having an orgy on the White House lawn. You're not gonna do anything. But I have to accept it. I have to accept it. All I can do is pray and try my best to protect my children, which is what I've done. Nearly had a nervous breakdown doing it and spent my savings account doing it. I guess that's what I would call sacrifice. But no one's gonna do anything. But they love talking about their guns in America. They're worse than they're worse than any liberal simps. They're worse. They're such posers.
I agree. And my husband's gonna come upstairs and yell at me. I agree. I do think that a lot of them are exactly what you said, like posers. It's like they're not real men. They're just a soy boy with a gun. They're
a toy.
What?
Toy. It's just like not even. It's
but not all. There are some.
This isn't a war. This war isn't going to be won with guns. This war is a psychological war. Wake up.
A huge spiritual aspect to it. But a couple of years ago, speaking of how much better AI probably is than what they're presenting with like ChatGPT and all that kind of crap. My daughter likes American Idol, okay? She wants to learn how to sing. So she was watching it on YouTube, and I saw 2 years ago on American Idol, there was this guy who did AI, and Simon Cowell was singing with Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty advanced to facial, like, and they can make it say the words. And now we have this celebrity prawn where people are wondering, like, the ethics of it, right? Like, is it
Smut
ethical?
prawn. Smut prawn.
Well, it's AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that what it's called? Smut?
Oh, I'm convinced that AI and CGI have been used in smut prawn for years. And that's a revelation I got this year because I remember I've talked about it before. About 10 years ago I watched a documentary on smut prawn. I was so traumatized by it. I couldn't believe what people were watching and
Right.
how prevalent it was in this. But now I realize that a lot of it was CGI because they're at least 100 years. I was like, how could people engage in that? How could they? But now I realize it was probably CGI. But the problem is, it's still coming out of the mind of something, and they had people to watch it. So good job, humanity. You took the bait again.
I
Like
don't know. I
that's
think
that's the big problem. We always take the bait and play ourselves over and over again.
this stuff is becoming more prevalent, and people are getting into really horrible, weird, illegal things because of it. So it's like, and they're going IRL. We just had in Boston here a house that was raided with 3 children living in a back room in horrible conditions. Um, the children don't belong to the 2 guys who lived there, but nobody knows where these kids came from. And they're like, well, what is this? Is this a trafficking thing? We're hearing this more and more now. You know,
I'm not hearing it because I
I was
can't handle that
telling
stuff.
you,
I wouldn't even know.
Miranda
Oh.
sings. What's her name?
So I
Colleen.
looked her. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned her today. You said, Faye, I want to talk about Miranda Sings. And I was like, why do I know that name? So I did look her on YouTube. Hi, sweet. Over here. Oh, thanks, baby. Joe's helping. Joe's giving me my wine. Jose told me not to feel bad about drinking. He's like, Faye, you gotta cope. That's how you cope. I smoke cigarettes. I go, Jose, I love you. And I do love him. But anyway, so yeah, I looked her up. I didn't watch any of her videos, but I remember who she is.
She was
Why?
very popular.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, my niece always hated her. My niece just turned 20. So like she grew up with her and she's like, I don't know, there's just something about her that she didn't like. Well, it turns out that she was sending all these disgusting messages to her fans. Now her fan base was 10 to 16-year-olds, predominantly. And one of them, she like basically manipulated into doing all of her online persona for 3 years without paying him. She sent him like her lingerie, and he finally quit on her when he was 17. So this goes all the way back until he was like 13, starting at when he was about 13. And it's coming out now that like she's a groomer for these young kids. And just scrolling through YouTube, not YouTube, whatever the search engine I have here is, there's a picture of her doing her comedy show, stand-up comedian. I mean, it just goes to prove that women comedians shouldn't really, unless they're absolutely hilarious, they're very few and far between, or else they just get raunchy and filthy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at Amy Schumer. That is just a train wreck. Oh.
Yes. But then this one, there's a picture of her at one of her shows with a 9-year-old little boy with his hand down the front of her pants searching for Cheetos. And it was part of her skit.
Well, where's the kid's mother?
Exactly. Where's the kid's mothers whose children are at like drag shows in bars with naked people? Where are their parents?
So today I got on the first. This brings okay. So I do yawn a lot, and Mary's not boring me. I'm very, very tired all the time. I probably need to get that checked. But anyway, today I got on the bus and Jose, you said, you don't look tired today, Faye. You look depressed. And I have had a hard week. You know what, guys? I'm just I've conquered. I accept the fact that I'm in a war that I don't fully understand, and we've lost. I've always said, Mary, that I never ever want to live in a world with open and accepted pedo,
Mm-hmm.
but we're here. That's what the flag represents. That was put in front of the American flag. It's already here. It's here, here, here. So keep kicking the can down the road and telling yourself it's not. There's a few things that made this world and this realm jump the shark for me. One was chemtrails. I said, that's too evil. That is so bizarre. And then when I went and told people about it and they pretended they didn't see it, I go, well, that just makes it even more crazy. So chemtrails made it jump the shark. The psyop, the medical psyop made it jump the shark. And now the open accepted pedo. And now the fact that everyone's in denial about it. Get your guns, hang up your flag. You don't realize where you are and what's happening. I don't realize everything either. I don't have the answers. But a lot of people that I watch, it's just all about their paycheck. As long as they get their paycheck, we're not facing the facts. America, there is no countries. Humanity, it's a war on humanity. And I hate to say it, I think we've lost. I don't see how we can turn this thing around. But go ahead, Mary. I'm sorry. I never said I'm a Scorpio. I can be dark, but I can also be very honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not there. I mean, yeah, everything stinks, but
do you agree that there's open accepted pedophilia? Because
yes, yeah, but as far as like being dark, like there is hope. I do think there's still hope. I do. I mean, otherwise, that's too depressing. That's too depressing. We raised up these kids. They don't need to be hearing us be like, I wish I were dead now. It's like they still have their whole lives to look forward to.
I feel guilty for bringing them here. I feel guilty. I do. I feel I have my little theories about what this is and who we are and who our adversary is. It's literally the most evil things that I don't think that I could ever think of. I have to witness for whatever this is. I can't even believe that I'm just past middle age. Thank God. I don't know. For me, I don't want to be like that, Mary. You think I want to be like that? But open, accepted pedo? No. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So,
it's horrible, but at the same time, you can only like deal with what is in front of you. You can't, unless like somebody is doing that, it's like, yeah, you definitely be aware, know how evil the world is, because this is getting so incredibly bad that I do think that, God's got to step in, or else he has to apologize to Sodom and Gomorrah.
Well, he already has. He already has stepped in with the Mandela effect. And it's God being God. It's very interesting. I'm glad that now the big Mandela researchers are kind of like putting the pieces together of like patterns and messages, because that's definitely above my pay grade. But there has to be. I do think that the Mandela effect is going to be used to persecute Christians, and all the fake, phony, baloney Christians are going to use it to persecute the real ones. And that's what I think. So, once again.
Yeah. Well, if they're that easily deceived, that's on them. That has like nothing to do with the spirit and discernment. You're just going to do that. Well, we'll see. I don't think so. I think that more and more people are waking up. Like when we were talking about the Dodgers game out with the those nuns, whatever they're called,
perpetual, the sisters of perpetual indulgence.
Yes.
What that has to do with baseball.
Right. And so there were more people protesting outside of the stadium than there were people in the stadium. I think people are getting tired, and these agendas are going to keep being pushed over and over and over again. And it's like, you don't even, it was a lot of Catholic people there, but there was also just like regular, like Joe Schmo off the street, Christians, Jewish people, and they just had enough of it. So it's like, Open and accepted by whom?
Right.
Like by
So
whom?
this is go ahead.
Yeah.
That's the
Well, you
long-term plan. The long-term plan for the world war is like Putin and like and I'm not saying this was pointed out to me through Matt from Quantum's recent video on Chechnya. Did you see that?
what was it?
He just did it was like a half-hour video on how unnatural the revival of Chechnya, Bosnia, Serbia,
Oh, Chechnya.
Croatia. He's like, they
Croatia.
were all war torn a few years ago, and now they're like tourist destinations. And he was just showing the actor president of Chechnya, another little guy. I don't know what it is like with these 5 feeters that they keep putting. Like, it's like, why? What is it with the short thing? Like, it's just weird. But anyway, so he is like all over Chechnya. I know I'm not saying it right.
Chechnya. You're saying it
Chechnya.
right. Yeah.
So anyway, you guys want to talk about and this is Matt. There's pictures of Putin on the walls and this little other guy, this little actor guy. They're such actors. And so Putin and Chechnya, they're like, oh yeah, get rid of the homosexuals, send them to Canada. Yeah, like they don't even deny it in interviews. So like it's like the liberal West is gonna be against the conservative Putin and his guys, and I could make me want to throw up. Just I can't with the script. But anyway, my kids aren't fighting for America over my dead body. They're not fighting.
Doesn't it make you wonder, like, you know, the expression, there's no honor among thieves. So I always try to, you know, I just be like, I wonder if this could be a thing too. Like, what if they literally are fighting the old like boomers? Actually, no, I guess a lot of what's his name's a boomer too, but like the old school NWO is fighting with this new, because because it seems like Russia, China, Brazil, the whole BRICS, whatever it's called, India, they're all like seem to be like doing their thing. It's like, who's going to be in charge? Like, we would see who was in charge anyway, right?
The thing is, though,
Well, be a puppet.
If it wasn't for two things, I might agree with you. But the problem is the moon landing and the medical psyop of 2020, that the entire world goes along with the moon landing. The entire world went along with the psyop. We're under. I don't know how big the dome is. I don't know how big this place we are in is, but there is a one world system, and it hates humans. It's not us. It hates humanity. Like, I was thinking about you, Mary. I think about like our conversations a lot, and you know, and it's gonna be hard for you because, you know, you and your husband, I've always thought it was a beautiful path. It's not my path, but you have 8 children, you know, and that's something that you are living in. Clearly our society doesn't encourage people to have 8 children. You know what I mean? You're lucky if you feel encouraged to have 2 children in this day and age. You know what I mean? So like, if you and Mike had your 1 or 2 children, you would be living high on the hog, you know what I mean? But you have your 8 children. But it's like, everything is just like, it's so anti-human. Like, so good for you for doing it. But
no,
like,
that's
a lot
true
of
too.
What?
Yeah, that's true too. It is definitely anti-human. I mean, you look at all these agendas, it's like we're destroying the planet. I actually saw an article last week, I forget who, or this week, I forget who put it out, but it's like, you want to have the environment, stop having families.
Oh my God. You're kidding me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's us. It's ours. It's us and our little lives. But here in Massachusetts, where they're trying to drive the normies crazy with the weather, I can only speak for Massachusetts. These people, we work hard in Massachusetts. Okay, everybody's working. But maybe if you're lucky, you have the weekend off, and then as soon as you see the clouds clear, you see the trails. But it's us. It's us and our little families, and me with my car with duct tape. I can't. But you know what? It's not the people doing the trails. It's the people that refuse to see the trails.
Yes. That ties into, like, again, it's like the normalization. I remember pointing them out to somebody one time, and they told me it was innovation. Right? Like, seriously, no.
Innovation.
Yeah, innovation. So there you go. That it's progress. It's like, okay, if you call that progress, you have a really low bar, you know?
Innovation to I don't even think they're planes. I think that they're taking credit. I think some of them are planes because they want to act like they're doing it, but it's a spiritual it's way, way above our pay grade what's
Yeah.
really happening. The powers that be know more than we do, but it's not them. There's not enough planes, there's not enough chemicals, there's not enough. It's something else. But you can see these trails spread out and turn a beautiful blue sky day into a milky, sick white over and over
Yeah.
and over again. I've lost count of my times, and that's innovation. And you know
Mhm.
what? That person's the problem. We didn't vote on this. I was listening to some ortho
Yeah.
chick today, and you know what? I really do like her, and I agree with so much of what she says. But then the stuff that I don't agree with, it's just she's going on and on about how women shouldn't have the right to vote and vote and vote and vote and vote. Vote. It's like
Mm.
voting. Did anyone vote on the geoengineering project? Did anyone vote to make me have to listen to Klaus Schwab? Did anyone vote? Like, voting doesn't matter. It's not real. So what do you say to someone like that?
And also about voting didn't count during 2020 when we were taken over by a World Health.
Oh my
Not
God.
not anybody who was, and it wasn't even like the CDC. It was the WHO. It was the WHO
Right.
doing all
Who?
these stuff.
Exactly. Another troll. Who?
Yeah,
Who's telling
exact.
me what to do? Who's telling me
Yep.
what to wear? Who's telling me to close my business? But the chickens are coming home to roost on all these businesses that gladly close. Everyone's like, they close. They got paid to close. Okay. I work for a guy, and yeah, I'm sorry, he was thrilled to close. You could hear the elation in his voice because he was thrilled to go along because I don't know how much he got paid, but he got paid. But
Yeah.
now they can't see 5 feet in front of them.
Yeah.
I just
Zero
can't.
foresight. My gym closed down.
Yeah.
Our gym, so it closed down. It's like, again, another gym that wasn't one of the few that try to stay open at least, or at least fight it. We had a lot of small businesses doing that too. Yeah, no, they went along with it, and guess what?
Everyone went
Now
along with
they're
it.
out
And
of business.
I don't want this to hit too close to home, and I'm not trying to be like, because your husband's an attorney, it's not him.
Yeah.
My father was murdered. He was a veteran. Okay, I have the timeline of how they lied and how they didn't put stuff in his file, and how he was just murdered. And I tried to contact injury lawyers. As soon as the word COVID was mentioned, we can't touch that. So they all got paid. But now I just watched someone do a 30-second agreement on AI. That's totally legal, totally binding. So it's going to come home to roost on everyone.
Oh,
We're
absolutely.
all going to pay the price. I didn't know how I knew, but I said to Unique when I was trying to explain to her that she was being lied to and that we had to stop complying. I said, watch what's going to happen with technology. As soon as they said the kids were going to do remote learning, I go, oh, here you go. Look at I said, I didn't know, because I'm not even like a techie person. I don't get excited about tech. I just got my first smartphone. I got the cheapest one. It's like a 12 or something. I don't know, but I said, watch all the tech that's going to come out. And here we are. So here we are. Watching a world that I couldn't create. I couldn't even think of this stuff. That's how I know that it's like people say, oh, well, we manifest the world. This isn't coming from me. This is stuff that I wouldn't imagine in my worst nightmares. Seriously. Seriously. But anyway, what else? I'm so hot. It's like so weird, the weather,
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you want to say hi to the chat real quick?
Yeah, I think I might go put on a tank top. I'm like hot in my t-shirt.
Oh,
Shout out to Richard Lopez. He gave this to me at Flatford Oktoberfest. He's a long-term name I haven't seen in a while. A lot of long-term names have gone MIA, and you know what? I don't blame him.
Yeah,
It's a SHIT show.
it really is. All right, so Soul Alpha. Hello, Soul Alpha. Good to see you. Boston Ray is here. He's saying, "How dare we?" Oh, speaking of how dare you, wasn't the world supposed to end on Wednesday? According to Greta, they did this big. It was like end of the world day thing with everybody making fun of her. So that was hilarious. It's so weird that she was wrong. I was really buying it from like a little kid telling me that. Okay, Joe is here. John Boy. Sue. So Sue was talking about your T-shirt, Faye.
Oh, good. Hi, Sue.
Yeah, she got one too. And I'm just gonna scroll back just a little bit more. Joe King.
Sue's an OG.
Yes. Joe King. That's funny because it's joking. Wonder if that's his real name. I knew somebody named Chris Smith, and when he introduced himself, I started laughing because it sounds like somebody saying Christmas with a lisp, but that was his real name. There we go. Feel better?
I do. I feel lighter. This is my moon cycle shirt, but I got paint on it, so
that's all right. So the sub, Faye.
Mary, you're so funny. So could you show them? Just so Mary and I like. So I woke up, and so Mary is a night owl, and I'm up early, and at like 6 a.m, I get this meme. Can you show people the meme?
I don't know if I have it. Hold on.
Here it is. It's just, I'll show it. So it's like it's that clown guy. I think he's like from
It.
I don't watch horror movies.
Neither do I, but everybody knows It.
I don't really understand people that watch horror movies, but that's just me. But anyway, so come see Titanic in my homemade sub, the It clown says. And then underneath, it's like the picture of them going in, it says billionaires. Sure.
So, going into the sewer after
no lie, I was like, I don't get it.
Yes, I was like, oh, Faye.
He goes, oh, Faye, never mind. And then then my daughter told me about it.
It was a fun distraction. I'm not going to lie.
That definitely goes in the distraction category for reals.
Absolutely. Now they're saying that they knew. I mean, again, always with any distraction or psyop or no matter what it is, they're always going to end it with a big giant middle finger to everybody. And this one, it just came out. Oh, they knew that it exploded on Sunday. It's like every freaking day. Now, I'm only on YouTube. The only one that follows this stuff is the guy I like, Cinema Shogun. He's my entertainment news. And so he's going and they're like, they hear tapping. There is hope. You know, he was going through every day what the news was saying. And then you have the Coast Guard up there, and the Coast Guard is giving these updates. Oh, we're searching really hard and all this kind of crap. And then the Navy comes out and they're like, oh yeah, you know, our, what are they called? Like top secret listening devices knew it blew up on Sunday. So it's like, wait, what is going on?
I still don't even understand the whole story. It's like, I really haven't even looked into it because I'm just like, my whole thing is, even if I was a billionaire, I don't think I would pay to go see the wreckage of a ship.
Okay.
Would you?
Well, I'm claustrophobic, but I don't begrudge people for doing like a horribly terrifying thing. You know, if you want to go kill yourself, have at it. That's on you. You know, and I will say this was its like 7th time going down. So it did have
allegedly.
6. No, people do deep sea diving, Faye. That's a thing.
Well, there's some people that say there's not even a Titanic down there. There's some people. I mean, I don't. Yeah, that's you have to remember who you're talking about. I don't believe anything anymore. It's really, which is probably, I'm on the furthest end. I'm an auto hoaxer. I don't believe anything, so it's really bad.
Well, deep sea diving is a thing. There was so much that didn't make sense about that story. Also, they were like, oh, we're going to go rescue them. It's like, but it's so far underwater that there would have to be certain spots that I guess because they had oxygen, they didn't need to. But anyway, I know somebody who does deep sea welding on like oil rigs and stuff. And, they go down in like pods and then they have to decompress as they go up and they go into these little like stations, or else they get, what is it, the bends, where you get
I couldn't do it.
bubbles in your blood. So anyway,
I get claustrophobic too. The last time that when we were in the Catskills, we took the kids down in a cave, and it was really cool because there was a waterfall underneath the cave. But I swear to you that as we were walking down, the only reason I didn't turn around and go back up is because I was like, I can't act afraid with my kids. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I don't want them to be big fraidy cats of life. So I just sucked it up for them. But that was the last cave I'm ever going down into. I'm an above land girl.
Me too. Terrifying. Yeah.
Like
we went to the caves down in what is it, West Virginia or Virginia? I forget what they're called, but you're going down, 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 and then there's even steps, and it's like you go down all these stairs, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is a death trap. But anyway, so also like there's just so much with that distraction that there was 1,000 red flags from day one. It's like from day one, and then everybody's still like, oh, there's tapping now. Oh, they only have 24 hours of oxygen left and all this stuff. It's like, no, guys, no. And also the guys, the way he controlled it was literally with like an Xbox controller.
Oh my God. I don't.
What?
Again, even if I was a billionaire, that would have no, I don't like, I did used to really want to go up into space like that. Let's let's get that travel psyop going where like just your average Joe can go up there.
They already have that. Didn't William? See, the thing is, there's like high altitude planes, which, they're really cool. They look cool. It's nothing I would do because I don't fly either. Yeah. I'm really fun. I'm very fun. I don't fly. I don't like the ocean.
Never go on vacation with you.
Everything's scary. Everything's dangerous. But yeah, this whole like, I don't know. The oceans are so amazing, though. The fact that, you can't explore so much of it because of the weight of the water that you can only go like so far down. I don't know. Yeah. It's cool. I don't begrudge people for trying,
I don't begrudge them. I'm just saying it's like it's the last thing I would ever want to do. That's all just me. But I guess if you're a billionaire, you can just go wherever you want, whenever you want. And
yeah. And I also think it's interesting that, is it James Cameron who made the movie The Titanic?
He did. Yeah. There he is.
Yeah. So he comes out.
That was written for River Phoenix, by the way. Just so you know.
Yeah. So he comes out, and he's also a deep sea explorer. He has a vessel type thing that he goes into the ocean with. But I do think it was interesting that everybody like went to him, and he was saying, "I knew this thing was doomed." I wonder how many people are going to watch Titanic tonight. It's like, just let's reach a whole new generation.
You know that the story of the Titanic splitting in half wasn't even a thing until that movie. Like that was never part of the narrative.
The only thing I know about the Titanic is that I do think the Titanic was real, but I think it was insurance fraud. I think they really sank the Olympic.
The best deep dive I've ever listened to on Titanic was Unexpected Cosmology. Noel Joshua Hadley. He does great like hoax videos, and he calls it a hoax. But 2023, it's a lot to take in, and my brain can only hold so much. I'm overwhelmed and confused most days, so I'm not here to argue it. I'm not really invested. It was a good movie. That's it. What?
Nothing. Just looking at the chat. Oh,
I'm so hot. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I'm upstairs. I need to put my AC on, I think.
I haven't even put my AC in the window yet. I still have the just the window fan. So
Mine's
yeah, what else you got, Faye?
Well, if you let me bitch about Juneteenth, thank you. That's been on my mind. Just the work from home psyop. I think that once again, human beings have been played, and they took the bait. And you're right. Like, what is it going to be like for our children? What is it? You can't call in sick. You're home anyway, and you're just gonna. I mean, how back to the chip in the head that Elon wants to put in. How much of that is fear porn? I mean, I don't think that they can control our consciousness. I'm just like, let's get on with it. But what do you think?
Yeah, that in nanotechnology is very confusing to me. My brother-in-law has tried to explain, like, because nanotechnology does seem like it would like give you a stroke immediately, right? Or a heart attack. We're not meant to have all these foreign things in our blood, but there is an explanation that it's like, no, they can make it work, which they have. they have made it work. So I assume it's going to be the same thing with Neuralink.
Wow.
Yeah.
And no diseases get cured. Everyone's working more than ever. Everyone's on antidepressants. I mean, good job, science. I like, yay, science. Woo! It's so great for humanity. I don't see it. I really don't. Sorry.
You know that song "She Blinded Me with Science" was about the flat Earth, right?
I know that he was a flat earther, Thomas Dolby. Background character told us that on.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious. But anywho, any final thoughts, Faye?
Joe's gonna be mad that we're wrapping it up so early. He's always like,
we can keep going. Let's see. I can show you. What do I got? Do I have anything good open?
I would ask for prayers if you don't mind. I'm getting something checked on me on Monday. Joe's knee injury, like just like I have a bump on my head, and
oh yeah,
it's I don't like it, and I pray that it goes away. It hasn't gone away, and I don't
it's not going to. I know what it is. It's called a win. My sister had those. She had to have them like removed.
A win? It doesn't feel like I'm winning with it.
No, it makes you big. Yeah, it's like it feels like a bead under your skin. My brother cut his own out. Yeah, with a razor.
Am I gonna have to shave my head?
No. What are you talking about?
I don't want to shave my hair at my age. Like, seriously. Okay, I hope you're right. I hope it's not like a tumor or something. So prayers. But I hope you're right. You usually are. What are you looking at?
Yeah, it runs in our family.
Michael Knight.
Wait, who's Michael Knight?
Michael Knight is the Knight Rider with Kit.
Oh yeah, hold on. Your sister's calling me.
Doing anyone want a good workout song?
Hello.
One of my favorite songs.
You want to come on?
Yeah. Hun. Oh, fire him up! Fire it up!
You're gonna come on
with what's his name?
Okay, hold on.
What a place to be.
Hold on, I got a special caller.
All right, I'm just giving a very good workout song recommendation. Fire 'em up, or Fire It Up by Busta Rhymes. It has the Knight Rider theme music in it. Oh my god, you see what people going. Is it my sister? Is it Snowy?
It's somebody special. It's a very special caller.
Oh, what an honor. What an honor to be on with you two ladies.
Well, have you been listening?
I've been listening, yeah. So I just wanted to share with you a little observation that I was just so lucky to have in my daily travel today. I was talking to, a friend of mine, she's been a high school cheerleading coach for 20 plus years. And I ran into her and just, oh, hey, how you doing? She said she completely gave it up. And I mean, this woman was all in. I mean, she was traveling every single year trying to take her team all the way. They would go to Disney,
yeah,
and enter all these competitions. And she was the head cheerleading coach at Pinkerton, which is the high school where I live, and a lot of the surrounding towns that don't have high schools, they use our high school as well. So this high school is huge.
Mm-hmm.
She completely quit, threw in the towel. I was totally surprised by that because I know how much she just has enjoyed it. And she said it's because I can't deal with these teenagers anymore and their parents anymore. They don't know what the word no means. And then we get to talking, and she's just like, they have no moral compass anymore whatsoever.
Mm.
Nothing surprising, but this surprised me, what I'm about to tell you. So apparently there's like this whole site called OnlyFans. I didn't know what it was. She explained it to me. It's basically a pornography site.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to be 18 and over? Yes, but any kid can bypass that, you know? So these kids, these high school girls, well into college, they're like giving up on their college. College is stupid anyway, but you know how it is in our country. Like, oh, you're going to graduate and you're going to go to college and do X, Y, and Z. They're finding that that's pointless anyway because they're making more money having their OnlyFans site selling themselves. She's telling me this one girl makes $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Selling pictures of her feet.
Oh, that's fabulous. Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. So
no, you know what I heard? Okay. So also on, I think it's like Instagram or something, there are very young girls over there, and they will, pretend just to be talking, doing a live, and then there'll be a comment that's like, why don't you get up and show us your outfit? And kind of the comments get creepier and creepier, like, oh, can you walk away from the camera again? And what happens is these girls get tips, maybe through like Cash App and things like that. So there are very, very young girls. I saw one was 11, and they don't do anything about it. Of course, the platform doesn't do anything about it. But these girls are in for a big surprise when the bloom is off the rose when they hit 26 and nobody wants to see it anymore.
Totally. That's totally true. There's also this other thing going around on Instagram. It just happened to someone that I know. They think they're talking to a girl, and the girls, they're getting into whatever they're getting into. But meanwhile, she's videoing.
Yes.
They're videoing him.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 days go by, and they tell you, you either give me X amount of money, or I'm going to send this video of you to everybody that you're friends with. And he didn't believe it, and then she actually did. And I was like, well, that's what you get for being a moron.
Yeah.
And for being completely morally bankrupt. And I mean, it's
Yes.
disgusting. But that's where we're at with that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my just great information. I felt like I wanted to walk off a cliff after talking with her.
I know. It is depressing.
It is, but it's depressing but exciting in the same way, because we're living, I mean, this is biblical.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I'm seeing is completely biblical. There's no surprise to any of this for me. I don't see any surprise in any of it. I mean, as you know, I live at the bookstore, and
Yeah.
I've been going to the same bookstore for 15 years, and I go in there now, and to see the witchcraft so prevalent when you walk through the door,
Oh, yeah.
that and the pride section and all this other stuff, and it's all aimed towards kids, and spell books and all these different
Mhm.
things, and just everyone's so desensitized to it.
Absolutely.
It's totally normal. It's totally normal now.
Mhm.
But it just kills me though too, because like they're spell books and it's so trendy. They're witchcraft. I see it all day in Salem too. I drive through there 3 times a week. It's so trendy, but they don't understand what muggles they are, and the real sorcery that is upon us is on all of us is like the Bible, pharmakia is sorcery, and I tried to explain it. Basically, the advent, of birth control and all of these pills, and everyone's on pills since like the 60s. That's in our ecosystem.
Oh,
I can sit
yes.
here and tell you guys, I don't take any medicines, I don't take any pharmakia, but guess what? I'm living in this world, I'm part of this ecosystem, and so snowy. So what I'm just saying about all these like trendy people in the bookstore, I got my book on witchcraft, and I'm gonna be my sisters in my coven. It's like they have no idea. The TV is doing spells on you, everything, right?
Everything. They're playing their part on the chessboard. They're being used, whether they know it or not. It still opens doors and invites it in.
Oh yeah.
And we're all surrounded by demonic activity all the time.
I think that human possession is really on prevalent. Are you guys like noticing that? Like, Snowy, you and I.
Snowy,
you and I have been. Sorry to interrupt. I'll let you go.
I was just going to say what I notice now. I mean, there's obviously always been homelessness, but to drive through the streets of Manchester or Nashua, New Hampshire today, as opposed to 10 years ago, I mean, you're seeing people, in the streets in a way that I've never seen before. And it is like they're possessed because, we have a governor who basically is supplying them with, all these drugs that they need. To me, it is possession.
Yes.
So you and I have been in a pub. I remember one time we were at a party, and we were with very affluent people, Snowy, and none of them were homeless. But I remember you and I were discussing one person, and maybe this will sound judgmental, but we knew that he was like a very godless, lived for the material. And remember, he was a cross. He was so far away from us, but as we were saying, he looked up at both of us with those demonic eyes. That's happened to me many times. It's just like for no reason, someone will just like, they'll look at me and they'll just have, what's up? You're going to Jackson's? All right, I love you. Dorian, but your sister's going to be so bored. You'll be back on like Sunday. Love you. Have fun. It's not easy when your daughter's best friend is her brother, and because of a big fake medical psyop. She'll have to come see you, Snowy, soon. She's been asking me. Anyway.
I love her. I love my niece.
Oh, good. That's good news.
I very just want everyone to know.
You do, and you're a very good aunt. And I thank God for Mary's children, Snowy, your children, and my children. Sometimes I go to bed, guys, and the other night I was going to sleep and I was saying my prayers, and I got a sick feeling in my stomach that my daughter, like I was going to bed and my daughter was up with one of these things. Because I don't even understand this stuff. It's like, what is she looking at, God? It's in your hands. But no, it's really in her hands, Faye, isn't it?
My 18-year-old still wants me to take the accountability software off his phone. What do you think, Snowy? Should I do it?
He definitely doesn't want you to ask me my opinion.
My adult son, no. The only reson why we haven't is we forgot the password. But accountability software.
I definitely. So, I have my two Chavies over here. One's going to be 23. He was going to be 19 in August.
That's right. Yeah.
And I did it differently with them both. I mean, James was 18 and a half when he bought his first phone. And I still wasn't happy he was getting it.
Oh, yeah.
But he was 18 and a half, and, he has it now. He's had it for quite some time. Eva, we allowed her to get one. How old was she? She was 17. It was during the fake pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone got sent home. And I when I look back, I think I shared this with you before, but I caved a little bit, and I was feeling like really bad, and which isn't typical of me, because typically I'm just like, get over it, whatever. But, it was a hard time, because even though we were out every day, we were trying to do anything and everything under the sun, because it was totally, we've talked about this, how ridiculous everything was, shut down, and these kids had no contact with each other. So to be at school every day and then to be at home, it just was really depressing. So
all by design.
I let her get one. Dave and I let her get one. And I see a difference now between her and James. There's a difference because he waited so long, and it's just, you see what I'm saying? Like, the younger they are, I think when they get these devices, the worse it's going to be. If that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Before
I only know with my kids playing video games. My older 4 had like scheduled time, certain things they could play. You know, I was much more strict. But now my little ones are playing. What are they playing? Minecraft or something like that. And I have completely become a slacker with it. It's like, oh, it's lunchtime. Go take a break on the computer, you know, and then they all have to kill each other over who gets the computer. But
the medical psyop.
We all got a little taste
war. When I pulled my children out, when I withdrew my children from school, neither one of them had a cell phone because it wasn't even going to be on the table for me because I have similar views as you guys. So then my son comes up to me, you know, he's doing like, he's just like, you know, he's past 8th grade. All of his friends have it. He's pulled out of school because of a satanic psyop. And he says, if I keep getting good grades and, you know, I just keep doing the right thing, you think maybe I could get a cell phone? And as a mother, like, how do you say no to that? You know, it's like, what do you say? Like, he's away from his friends. And then my daughter didn't have one when she was pulled out in 6th grade. She was just like finding herself. She was really like finding her friends. She was getting into track. She was really like, and then all of a sudden that was all yanked away from her. And unfortunately, because all the other kids had phones, they were they weren't pulled out with the brutal protocols. My daughter is it breaks my heart. She's very lonely, and I hate it. But now she has a phone. But
hold on, Lean. My sister, not my sister, my daughter also wants to chime in on this because she does not food fasts, media fasts. Yeah,
is this my beautiful birdie chiming in here?
You're gonna have to
look. I can't see her. I can only hear.
Stunning.
Well, talk loud then. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't really have anything to say.
Well, you had plenty to say earlier about how you get like depressed if you're on it too long.
Oh, it's just it's really not using your mind, honestly. Like, and it's really like people say that using, you know, video games and everything, it rots your brain, TV rots your brain, but really you are literally not using your mind at all. You're not exercising parts of your brain that you exercise when you're reading or doing anything else. Most of the processing centers aren't being used. It's literally just your eyes, and then just like no imagination is being used. Whereas if you're reading or something, you're actively picturing things.
Yeah,
you're so right, and she's so right. And just to kind of go along with that, I've noticed that these kids today, they have no attention span whatsoever. It's like they can't even get through a chapter of a book.
Tell her. Eileen.
That's so true. Literally, I have so many friends that I'm trying to watch, like even trying to watch a movie with them, even media. At that point, they still can't sit down and watch a movie
because they're so used to everything being like a TikTok.
I think a lot of that has to do with the way these TikTok videos and even videos you'll see on Instagram, they're purposely designed to rob you of your attention span, because the videos will be like a 3-minute video or a 5-minute video, and you don't realize it, but the more you're watching these videos, anything longer than that amount of time, you can't do it. You're like bored by it or something. You can't get through it. And it's purposely designed like that. So I know, Eva and I were just talking about this. Every night she's got her book. She's reading her books because for the same reasons that Birdie was just talking about. And, you know, when Faye talks about my beautiful niece being lonely and everything, it's when you think about the age that all these young kids are at, finding other, kids that age that are, share the same values and moral compass, it's becoming harder and harder and harder. And I've talked to my niece about this many times, and I think Faye, as her mom, I'm talking about Faye like she's not there. You, as her mom, she's your baby, so you feel bad, but she has such a good head on her shoulders, and she's just like, I don't have time for what these kids are doing. I don't want any part of it. Do you know what I mean?
I appreciate that, and she's more mature than the kids.
Yes.
She's back at high school now to see her friends and get out of the house. But I've already told her that her brother is about to be is a senior now, and he's varsity basketball. He's living the dream. I mean, he's just Dorian. I mean, for whatever reason. And when your brother graduates, if you still feel this way, you can easily take your GED and go to community college. Take some classes that interest you. There's nothing wrong with that. I got my GED. I graduated BC with honors. So it doesn't matter. But thank you for saying that. But there are children in my worry. She's definitely. Her screen time is way more than and she's just playing video games and stuff, but it's still so much. I would have never allowed this before the medical psyop. So that's why it really is a war. They were after our children, and it was a kill off of our elderly. It's so sick. And this is why I don't mean to be negative, but I just cannot every day wake up and I'm like, no one is going to go to jail. And this is going to go down in history the way the victors want it to. And that's so, and it was our elders died, and now our kids' lives are all muffed up.
No, my daughter has some, she walked away, but now she's back.
No, please, Birdie, as many things as you want.
No, literally, the last thing is just that also, after being on screens, it literally sucks, like, your energy. Like, not like energy, like, metaphysical. I'm just saying, like, if I have a hockey game or something, I'm just saying that if I'm on screens, I have no energy and I'm out of focus on the ice and I do worse. That's just it. I just want to say
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, I totally agree. This is one of the reasons why every day, like when Mary and I text throughout the week, I send her pictures of my dogs and stuff. And if I can, you know what I mean? I'm not feeling well. It's like, yeah, I still have to work, but I get to be out and I'm doing physical labor. I would rather be a garbage collector than sitting at an office. I literally would. And because I did work at an office part-time, and it wasn't like quite like what this is like what Birdie's referring to, but that there's nothing worse than office tired. You know what I mean? You would go home and you'd really just be like sitting, and I only worked a 6-hour shift. This is when before kids, then when Dorian was really little, and I lived, like, my mom was very helpful and Joe's family, and it was a part-time job, but a 6-hour shift. And of course I got up every chance I could. That office tired was so draining. So, I mean, I don't spend a lot of time on my phone. Like, I don't but these kids do. They have the tech neck. Have you noticed that on the kids? Like, we never had tech neck. Sometimes when I think,
I watched a whole documentary in China. It's in China. So these kids go to school all day, and then they go to this medical facility, and their necks get strapped into something, and basically they're just in a position where they can't look down. They can't look up. They can't look down. Their head is just strapped, so they're just
like this. This is a yoga pose. They used to. That was a very popular.
They're constantly looking down at their phones, and their necks, they're like deformed. And these are like kids.
Oh my God!
You can look at this on YouTube. I couldn't believe it's blowing my mind. But then they get out of the treatment that they go to, and what are they doing? They're like walking up the street looking down at their phone, right when they get out. They also have in China the first rehab for video game addiction. And this was real. I don't even speak the language, but I watched it, and it was horrifying. I was in tears looking at these young kids. Their families are taking them in there, dropping them off for treatment. And these kids, they would rather jump off a cliff than be than have their video games taken away from them.
I remember that with both my sons playing Fortnite. Now, both my sons, older sons, I mean, really enjoy video games. They like Battlefield, those types of games. And they've been playing video games, as I said, since they were littles. But the raging on freaking Fortnite was like something I've never seen, like ever. And I wonder if they have like what games these kids that are addicted are playing. I wonder if it was during like the peak of Fortnite.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember them mentioning particular games. It was more just based on the treatment they were going to get. But you're making me think of
that. Makes me wonder, like, how much really are human beings monkey see, monkey do. And like, I remember Dorian having his little fits. And you know what? Since Fortnite went out of style, he doesn't really do that over the games he plays anymore.
Right.
It was like, oh yeah, Fortnite rages. Like, it was like kind of like it came with the territory. Like, you're playing Fortnite, if you're really good, you gotta rage. Like, we are really,
yeah. Well,
we really are copycats. Like, it's
James always had, he was into video games as well, but I would always monitor, if you're playing with someone else who knows where they are, you don't even know who you're talking to. People can send you comments, things like that. So seeing what total strangers would say, and they would leave like voice messages and everything.
Yeah.
It was just.
And that was all AI.
I mean,
that was all AI.
That people in marriages have broken up because, people go into these stupid games where they're like, almost like the metaverse type thing, and they meet someone on there. It's like a cartoon character. And I saw this one lady, and she divorced her husband because she met someone in the metaverse or whatever. I mean, this is the world that we live in today. This is the world we live in. So.
But I was just saying, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Yeah, I bet marriages have broken up over people that met a sexier online avatar. So earlier I was saying that, like, bye, sweetie, I love you. I surmise that the tech that we're all like being inundated now with this like AI, and I'm sure there's a lot to it, but it's obviously they always are 100 years ahead of what they're letting us know. I think that I was fighting with AI chat on Facebook, Eileen. I swear to God, like I remember like some of these fights, I don't even think that it was like really the person saying it in some instances. Like they were just characters. They've been doing it for a while. It's crazy.
I mean, nothing would surprise me.
Also, people are weirdos. Just also, there's that too.
Why, Mary? Because they like to spend money and buy photos of other people's feet. They're weird because of that. That's not normal.
Did you hear about the guy who, at the Hilton, he was the manager and he broke into the hotel room and the guy woke up and the manager was like licking his feet or something. How the heck he didn't beat the living crap out of that guy is beyond me, because I think
Mary,
even I would attempt it.
If that happened to you, you'd be laughing your ass off so hard because you just wouldn't even be able to. You would be like, all right, hold on, let me just grab my phone so I can take a quick photo of this happening to me right now.
Oh, I could sell it for big money.
So the other day, my Joe can vouch for me on this, and I was like, I forget where I was going, but I was all dolled up, and I like, the hair and the nails and the sandals, the strappy sandals. And so I was like, Lena, how do I look? Because I always have to ask my daughter. You guys have daughters. Like your daughter will be like, no, that doesn't match. Like, go change. So my daughter takes a good look at me, and she goes, you could be a foot model. I was like, oh, I guess all this is just has-been city.
Yeah, that's hilarious. My
daughter's a lot nicer than mine. She'd be like, nothing's going to work for you, Mom.
Yeah, my daughter would be like, those are bimbo
I was
shoes.
like really feeling my feet after that. I was like, ooh, but still, I was like, I guess this is all just like blah, blah, blah. Go ahead,
Yep.
Mary. Sorry.
Well,
Oh, I just said my daughter would be like, those are bimbo shoes, or she'd have some insult. Not, but if I look nice, she'll say I look nice. But
I don't wear bimbo shoes anymore. I used to
I have not anything with like a higher heel on it. She'll be like, mother,
Yeah.
mother, your propriety.
Aw. Well,
I
if
love
you're a
that.
girl, if you're a woman out there and you don't have a daughter, like daughters are more honest than any mirror you'll ever have.
Oh,
So,
for sure.
It's so true. So true.
God bless them. God help them. Yeah. Again, I don't know if you listened to last week's, but these kids really still do give me hope and all this. I know I can come off as a little like, we've lost, it's over, but you're right, Mary. The kids do give me hope. Like even listening to Birdie just now, she gets it.
Yeah. These young kids, I'm telling you, they're different. And it's not.
That's God. That's supernatural. Go ahead.
We were driving with one of her friends, and what did her friend say to me? Oh, I can't even remember. I wish I could. But it was a question that was like almost like a conspiracy theory, but not like a mainstream one. Like,
Yeah.
and she said, what do you think of this? I literally couldn't even believe she was asking me that question. So there's kind of the good side of the internet. These kids are coming across stuff.
Yes.
They're questioning what they're seeing a lot more.
I never said that I was over. I've never here. I've never told anyone I'm here to uplift you. Okay, most of the time, like I need to be brought around on these streams for therapy, but these kids are amazing. They are, and they've been through a lot. And that I said the Mandela effect is the only supernatural thing I've seen, but I'm going to add to it. These kids, and it's more than just resilience. It's a wisdom that they have. It's an understanding like the Birdie's generation and like our kids, like for her, what she just said, like is so like child psychiatry exhibit A that no child psychiatrists are talking about. Like, hey, like it's sapping our energy. It makes me feel depressed. I'm taking a fast from it, a break from it. Thank God.
So you
God
have
be
to,
with
but see, Birdie's amazing. Birdie was raised, she has two parents that have always been highly invested and about her, upbringing. And I'm sorry, that's not typical these days. I'm sorry. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I see it every day.
Most kids probably wouldn't even know why they felt the way they did. Like she knows what's up. So
she
but then I
definitely
heard
knows what's up. All your kids do. It goes back to the home. It goes back to the parents. And we're living in a time where, from what I see, you see someone getting hurt and your first reaction is to get your phone out and video it and not even offer to help. That's what I'm seeing.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, why isn't anybody, when we were talking about why isn't anybody doing anything? It's like you could literally see that. It's like, wait, people are filming this, but nobody's stopping this?
Exactly.
So they're not going to be storming anywhere with weapons. They're all full of crap.
They're not.
No.
Can I tell? I had a heroic story. Do you guys want to hear? So just
Sure.
I ran into the line of fire. So I haven't even told you. So
Yeah.
I've been taking a lot. I've been taking my boss up on any and all training about dogs. I feel like it's a skill. Okay, like I spent a lot of time in school, and when I was done and I got my certificate, I didn't actually know how to do anything. You know what I mean? So my new thing, and I tell my kids, is like, if you're going to get educated at the end, you better know how to do something. So anyway, the other day, my neighbor's dog attacked another dog walking by, and all I heard was, ah! I didn't reach for my phone. You know what I did? I'm so proud of myself. I ran out there, guys, and I know how to break up a dog fight without being scared and without getting hurt and without the dogs getting hurt. I feel comfortable. Even if it was two pit bulls, I feel like I could break them up.
That day, I'm contacting the mayor's office. We have to have a ceremony, and you need to be awarded a medal.
Yes. But back to, so July's coming up. Sorry, I'm talking to my sister, my cousin now. Guys, this is God. Last July, we had to have Leo put down. Remember? And he attacked.
Oh.
He attacked. My family went through a lot, and he attacked. Thank God the little boy was all right. It was terrible. It was terrible. A lot of money, a lot of pain, a lot of heartbreak. Everything happens for a reason. Now it's a year later, guys. I'm working with dogs, making as good and better money than teaching exercise, getting training, and I feel comfortable getting in the middle of a dog fight, guys.
Yeah, that is huge for you.
It's huge for
everything
me.
you went through.
So I'll just tell you guys how to break up a dog fight quick.
Okay.
So this is what you do. You grab you all your hands never in front of their mouths. The first thing you try to do if it's just like a scuffle is obviously try to distract them. Like, let's go get a treat. At the daycare I work at, there's a lot of water bottles and stuff. But if it's a real fight, what you do is you grab them by the hindquarters and toss them like a ball. They're only going to get moved. You just stay away from their mouths. You grab them by the hindquarters. Don't worry. They're so distracted. They'll never reach back and bite you. You grab them and toss them away.
Yeah, that's something I'm not getting involved in. I'll be like, oh, that poor lady with those dogs fighting.
I'm sorry. It is big for me. It's a huge. I mean, it hasn't even been a year. Look at me breaking up dog fights.
Yeah, Mike says, what does he say? I'm really good with getting in the middle of cat fights. I think that's
with a wife and 4 daughters.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But Mary, you're so right too, because now that I'm boarding dogs, you always said that, like, put a cat, because I'm always laughing about like the dog's in charge and the dog clicks. You're like, Faye, put a cat in there. He's running the show. My cat runs the show. He doesn't care. It's so cute.
Hilarious.
Anyway, I'm going on and on. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, Snowy, thank you for calling.
Oh, well, I love your cousin. I love you too, sis.
Any
Love
final
you.
thoughts?
You call him anytime. You should call him more often.
This is like seriously, you know what's funny? My sister said she might call in tonight, so I guess I'll wait like maybe 3 weeks and then she'll call. I'm only teasing. I do appreciate it.
I love you both. All right, I'm going to sign off.
You.
Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
This.
That was so nice.
What a nice surprise. All right, now I have to do Joe Super Hunks. Michael Knight,
Oh yeah.
Bo or Luke Duke. So which one was
Michael Knight? Was David Hasselhoff?
Yeah, David Hasselhoff is the Knight Rider. But Bo and Luke, I forget which one was the blonde one and which one was the brunette one.
Your sister just butt dialed me.
The Dukes
Bo
of Hazzard
was the one with the dark hair, and Luke was the one with the blonde hair.
All right. So I probably Michael Knight is the super hunk, and then the blonde Dukes of Hazzard guy, and then the dark haired Dukes of Hazzard guy is the third. They're all good looking guys. I give them all hunk status, but for me it would go David Hasselhoff, blonde Dukes of Hazzard guy, and then the dark haired one.
There you
How
go.
about you, Mary?
Oh, David Hasselhoff. And then the other two are just fuzzy. They're just fuzzy to me.
I did always leave an impression. Kind of cute. What?
I said they didn't leave a strong impression.
Oh my gosh, I used to watch it every Friday night. I thought the blonde one was cuter.
Yeah, I think I did too. The other one kind of had ape brow.
Yeah.
Like a simian brow, I think they call it.
Oh my god, I want to go watch Dukes of Hazzard reruns now. I think all the guys would agree Daisy Duke was a pretty hot stuff. But we get Jen the Truth Seeker, she'll be like trans investigator. She'd probably be right.
That's a good one. Daisy Duke, Mayella, and we'll have to pick a third one for Super Babes. But all right, let's wrap it up. We've been going almost 2 hours, and we covered a lot. So
we did. Hey, keep the faith. Hey, what's going on with the storms in Canada? Sorry, I'm not laughing about storms, but moving right along.
I know.
This week was Titanic subs. God only knows what reality has in store for us this week.
As long as it keeps being stupid, I'm there for it. You know, I had the aliens. Remember the aliens out there in Vegas? Then the submarine.
Yes, we'll keep it stupid. Keep it stupid. Keep it simple. Stupid. That's it. I don't know.
Yeah, literally.
I'm
it beats like getting stressed out about what's on the news, and Oh,
and
God.
what's happening in the betrayal of the world's children. But you know what? Birdie gave me hope. Thank you, Birdie, if you're listening.
All right,
Always
shout out
good for
Birdie
a
and
woman.
Snowy.
Birdie, Birdie's got my vote for president someday. I will vote again for Birdie. That's it.
So a female voter for a female president. That sounds like was it Recipe for Disaster?
Right. Seriously.
All right, I'm
Right.
gonna do our extra, and if your daughter wants to work on an intro, she's more than welcome to.
My
Can never
daughter's
have
good.
too much.
All right, that's right. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.